Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stephen Breach coming to you here today. We're going to be talking all about the WWE TLC 2015 pay-per-view, which is coming up right around the corner. Of course, the main event is going to be Sheamus against Roman Reigns in a big TLC match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to have to see if Roman Reigns is going to be able to climb to the top of the ladder finally in WWE and become the man. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this for a long time. But normally, when I sit down and I do these pay-per-view previews, I'm really happy-go-lucky, and I'm saying, like, hey, WWE Monday Night Raw might not be hitting on all cylinders. It might not be the best show as of right now. But when it comes down to it, I think that the pay-per-view is going to be good on the WWE Network, and it's going to be a fun little sit-down and a fun little watch. This isn't going to be one of those videos. This isn't going to be one of those days. I know that I made a video 5 days ago. 5 days ago. On this channel, where basically I talked about the upcoming WWE TLC pay-per-view. I looked at the card and said, hey, this doesn't look that bad. And I don't know what happened, if WWE Monday Night Raw was that unwatchable last night in my mind. Tweet of the night goes out to my buddy, Luke Cara, who just basically said, I've had enough of this shit, I'm out of here. And he left during, I believe, the Braun Strowman versus Tommy Dreamer match, not even waiting around for the final segment, which was Roman Reigns and Sheamus fighting it out. I don't blame him. I think a lot of people thought that the Dreamer match was the main event, and maybe WWE was trying to read into what people were saying on those fan surveys that they've been passing around, and basically thinking that maybe the main event doesn't mean what the main event is anymore. 3 hours is a long time for professional wrestling, and honestly, in my mind, a lot of people are making videos about what they would do if they were running WWE, how they could make WWE better, things such as that. And honestly, in my mind, 3 hours is just too damn long for a wrestling show. And maybe WWE is too far in over their head as of right now. In my mind, the number one reason why WWE can't take away that third hour and not make it mean something is that for the fact of they have stockholders. The McMahons own a majority stake of the company, but a lot of people invest money in WWE thinking that they're going to have a big payoff. WWE has had their stock rise to highs. They've had it go to lows. But, people invest in this, and they have people that they have to answer to. And WWE is paid by USA $100,000 as a part of their contract for that third hour of Monday Night Raw. And they just signed this deal, so they can't really go to USA and say, hey, we're cutting an hour of Raw, and, that be it. Maybe USA will, lucky enough, go to WWE and see the writing on the wall and ask for them to cut it back, and they will rejoice. I'm sure that WWE will have a party in Titan Towers if they do this, but as WWE, going to your stockholders and telling them, hey, we're going to cut an hour of Raw, we're going to lose $100,000 a week, you can't really make that up with an extra house show. You can't really make that up selling extra t-shirts. That, in my mind, is basically free money to WWE because they already have a house. They already are filming a show. They're just making the show longer and they're getting paid more for it. But to go to your stockholders and say basically, hey, we didn't make $100,000 this week, and they might be like, hey, that's all right. We had a bad week. We'll bounce back. But then you have to go to week number 2, and then you have to go to the stockholders again and say, hey, we didn't make $100,000 this week, and now the stockholders are saying, hey, well, now we're $200,000 in the hole. How are we going to make that back? And so that's what's hard. Maybe WWE screwed up by making main event exclusive to overseas during that Sky TV deal. And I have people who tell me that it shows up on the WWE Network. It's just not up there on Tuesday anymore. Maybe it gets uploaded on Thursday or something. But I haven't watched it in a long time, and I thought it was a fun show. It was only an hour. Maybe the matches that were on there weren't main event talent, but a lot of times they put matches on there that people who like wrestling would really care about. Last one I can remember was Rusev versus Swagger. It was long after their feud was done, but they just put them together for a fun little match. Swagger wasn't on the status that he was like around SummerSlam that year, but they sort of built on the fact that these guys had had a rivalry in the past. They don't like each other, and they were going to fight. And that was fun about it. But maybe they could go to USA and try and sell them main event. I mean, they're going to be taking over the USA Network in January. They've got Monday Night Raw on Monday. They've got SmackDown. I think is going to stay on Thursday. Maybe they could say, hey, put this extra hour of WWE television on Fridays. And what does USA have on Fridays? I mean, basically, they're selling out to wrestling for a reason, is because they want to stay with the ratings on cable. They want to be number one. And wrestling brings in people. There's enough people out there who there's wrestling on, they're going to watch it, no matter if it's top-notch talent or whatever it is. I'm sure there was people who liked watching WGN Superstars back in the day, and they were upset when that show got canceled. But I don't know what they can really do because of the fact of that. And plus, if you think of back in, I think, 2011, when Triple H was taking over, he came out there and he was all excited. I'm bringing the superstars of SmackDown to Monday Night Raw, and we're going to start the Monday Night Raw Super Show. It's going to be 3 hours each and every week. How does WWE rub off the fact that they're going back to 2 hours without knocking themselves and making them look like they got canceled? So I don't know if there's a way for them to really to save face. But, for being a wrestling fan, as big as I am, I love throwing money at WrestleMania. I love buying wrestling t-shirts. I love buying wrestling DVDs. But it's hard. I was having this conversation with somebody that came over to the house the other day. I don't understand the fact that I hate to watch professional wrestling on Monday. This is their A show. It's their number one deal. I think the WWE Network is an awesome deal. It's a great way to support the company and moving into the future. It's a great way. I get together with friends and we watch, older pay-per-views. This is a new thing that we've started doing, watching them on a live stream on YouTube. And having other people come in and interact with us as we're watching wrestling. It's a fun thing to get everybody on the same pace. We used to do this with DVDs back in the day, but not everybody would have the same DVD collection, so it was hard to do. But if you have a WWE Network, you got pretty much almost everything. So, I don't know. Monday Night Raw last night was the drizzling shits, in my opinion, and that's just the way it is. And then that makes me look at this pay-per-view card for the upcoming show. I mean, you've got the TLC match. Maybe Roman actually wins the championship and he becomes the number one guy in the company. You've got this Divas match with Charlotte and Paige. And that's just confusing to me because I don't understand, what's going on. Who's the babyface? Who's the heel? How does Becky Lynch play into this? I think they're just making it way too hard. Nobody cares about this ECW versus the Wyatts match. Del Rio versus Swagger, even though Swagger's my man. It's a chairs match, and we've never had a good chairs match. Just be glad that they're not involving stairs this year like last year. You've got the ladder match, which is probably going to kick off the show, which is going to be really fun. You've got Owens versus Ambrose in what should be it's hard to say anything in WWE is a dream match anymore, but that really should be a really good match that people are really excited for. And I know that Owens was sick one week and they couldn't really build anything up, but Dean Ambrose throwing popcorn and soda in the face of Kevin Owens doesn't really incite me to watch them have a wrestling match. So I don't know. I mean, Raw sucked this week. They sucked this month. Can you give them the excuse, basically, of saying, hey, it wasn't that good because, Cena's out. He's going to be coming back soon. Randy Orton's hurt. We don't know when he's coming back. Rollins is hurt. Maybe he's going to come back sooner than we thought, but he's not going to be around for a while. I don't know. There's lots of excuses that you can make for this show, but honestly, they've got a deep enough roster. They're the number one company in the United States. They're probably the number one company in the world, honestly. They should be putting on good television. It should be that easy. And we'll have to see what goes down, because as of right now, I don't think this pay-per-view is going to be that good. I'm glad that I get it for WWE Network's price of $9.99, and they're not asking for $40 to $50 in order to order this on cable pay-per-view. I'm gonna love seeing what that number is, because they've had pay-per-views the last few months with their total buys being close to 100,000 buys, which is crazy considering what the price of a pay-per-view is and what the price of the network is. But they keep on saying that they're making more money on pay-per-view than they thought they were going to, and it's really helping their business. But can you really expect for them to get more than 10,000 buys on this show? I don't want to say TNA status, and I took a cheap shot at them right there, but there's no way people are buying this show for real. Get the network. I mean, I don't know. I watched a lot of shows. I watched the ECW December to Dismember. You've got the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast that's coming up underneath. I've watched a few Royal Rumbles. Getting hyped up for that upcoming show. So I've got my money's worth of it out of the WWE Network. Plus the Breaking Ground show is really good. But I don't really know what to think about this show. It might not even be worth the $10 to me.